is Shanae, and I am here to talk to you about getting around in Korea. So if you come to Korea, there are many options for you to choose from. You can walk, drive, take a taxi, take a bus, ride a train, ferry, or an airplane. Many ways for you to get around. So anyways, as far as walking goes, there are many stairs and hills in Korea. So please mentally prepare yourself for that. If you have any problems with your legs or knees, then you're probably going to struggle a little bit. I personally have two bad knees. I have a partially torn ACL on the left leg, and I had a surgery for my meniscus 5 years ago. I believe I have now torn the meniscus in both knees, but I don't know. Who knows? We'll find out sooner or later. There's a lot of walking you will do in Korea because everything is always in clusters, big clusters. All you have to do is arrive to one part of the cluster and you can find everything by walking. Also, driving. If you want to drive your own car, if you want to buy a car in Korea, you will need to get an international driver's license. If you want to buy a car here, it's fairly cheap for a used decent car. You can get cars for $1,000 and that's incredible. But yeah, you need an international driver's license. When I lived in the countryside, I considered getting a car and getting my international driver's license. However, I am not a fan of the way people drive here. Road rage is real. I've watched taxi drivers speed up as old ladies are crossing the street, honking and speeding up, and I'm like, no, you can slow down. The driving's a little different here. Also, like stop signs, lights, the rules seem a little bit loosey-goosey. If you want to get a taxi, there are taxis all over Korea. The thing is, if you have an address, they may not want to use their GPS. Some taxi drivers straight up refuse to use their GPS, so please be aware of that. So it's always good to know a general landmark, or if it is by a subway stop, it is best to use that. If it is by a big store, a department store or something, it's best to use that. If you want to go somewhere, say the name and then 가주세요. So if you want to go to Home Plus is like Target or Walmart, I guess. So Home Plus 가주세요, like 가주세요 for please go there. Anywhere you want to go, blah blah blah, 가주세요. 하단역 가주세요. Subway station stops, blah blah blah, 역 가주세요. 하단역 가주세요. Okay? So if they're being rude, if they don't want to run the meter, if they are saying strange things to you, you can always snap a photo of their dashboard where it will have their picture and their information. There are numbers you can call if your taxi driver ain't acting right. Okay, for buses, if you want to take a bus, there are city buses and intercity buses. Intercity buses take you out of town and you must pay cash. You must pay for a ticket at a counter usually. The city buses, the regular buses in your town area, those buses are, you can use cash or you can use your transportation card. So, so the transportation card, I have a little Snorlax right here. There are different transportation cards. There is the T-Money brand, there's the Cashby brand, there's probably other ones, but these cards can be used for the buses, the subway trains, and some taxis apparently accept them, but I've never tried, I'm not sure. The one time I did try, he was like, oh, my card reader's broken. So these T-Money cards can be found at convenience stores like 7-Eleven, GS25, CU. Some of the stores only cater to one brand, so just be aware of that. You can buy these in the subway stations themselves at the little machines. You can buy a card. Please, and you can also, that's also the place that you recharge your card. Be aware that you can only use cash to put money on these cards. You cannot use another card to put money on the card. So you gotta have cash each time. It is very helpful if you learn how to read Korean, because while you can travel plenty of places here without knowing Korean, it is better for yourself, for your safety, to know where you are going. If you are going to this town, you tell them at the ticket counter where you want to go. There's a chance they may not understand your accent. For the most part they should, but sometimes they don't, and sometimes they're just looking at you, just wondering everything about your life instead of listening to what you're saying. So please learn how to read Korean. If you are going somewhere, know what the place name looks like in Korean, so that you can double check your ticket. As for your own safety and for just reassurance, it's best to learn what things look like in Korean. So there are some very helpful apps for navigating Korea, and they are KakaoTalk. That's number one. That is the messenger system. Everyone in Korea uses it. If you meet someone and you're like, hey, let's exchange information, they're going to say, what's your Kakao ID? They're going to want to message you on Kakao. Also, if you get your family to download Kakao, then you can talk to them for free. Video chat, voice notes, voice calls. My whole family's on Kakao. Took a while to get them on, but they are there. So it's best to use Naver or Kakao Maps. And with the Kakao Map Messenger, also, if you are lost or something, you can send your location pin to your friends, and it will lead them straight to wherever you are. I've had friends send me location pins on Facebook, and it gives you Google Maps, which is not super accurate or detailed. So Naver Maps, Kakao Maps, that is the best. For the subway, trains, you want to download the subway or metro app. It will tell you when's the next train, how long does it take you to get to the next stop, how long is your transfer if you are to walk to another place. It tells you all of that information. It even tells you which cart will get you there the fastest. Kakao Taxi. If you don't want to wait 84 years for a taxi, it is best to use Kakao Taxi. In my town that I'm in now, in Busan, I have to walk a little bit that way to get to like all the taxi stands, all the taxi hangouts. But I don't want to do that, so I usually just Kakao Taxi so I can just get picked up right in front of my apartment building. If you are having a hard time getting a taxi, Kakao Taxi can be a good way to bypass all the whole, oh, she's a foreigner, skirt. It can bypass that. However, if you're in Seoul, you're just going to have a hard time anyways. I have yet to figure out the best methods for taxis in Seoul. It's awful. It's awful there. KoBus is a good app for your bus systems in your city. The city buses, finding out when's the next one coming, when does it stop, when does it finish for the night, things like that. KoBus is good. KoRail. They recently added a link for English. If you cannot speak or read Korean, you can reserve your tickets for the trains there, and it's very useful. The train fares there, you can pay with a Korean card. I think you can pay with you can pay with any card. So those are useful. The KoRail, it's KTX, ITX, Mugunghwa, the slow train. So all those trains, if you want to reserve a ticket, use KoRail app as well. And finally, if you are new to Korea, you are going to want to join some Facebook groups if you are on Facebook. So the best way to find out what's up in your town, I lived in the countryside for 2 years, and I needed these groups. I needed them. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So you will need to look up your city name. Look up your city name. See if you get anything from there. Expats in your city. Teachers in your city. Foreign students in your city. Foreigners in your city. Those Facebook groups are usually very useful. Sometimes there's like lots of ridiculous things going on in them, but for the most part you can figure out who you need to see, where you can go, who's in your town, if there's any meetups, if there's any language exchange, if there's any fun places that people go to for fun, to hang out. Xander! So those Facebook groups are very useful. I suggest you look for them right before you get to Korea. So anyways, that is all I have for you today. I am aiming for an informative channel, okay, so far. So I hope that you find this information useful, and